Slovakia. So, yeah, just go on, read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, the point is
Sons of
that
men.
the sons of God was speaking about so-called Israelites, man.
Yeah.
Right, but they weren't called Israelites there. That's why I say so-called. They were being called the sons of God, which that is another title in Israel.
Yeah.
It's the same. We still have that title to this day. We're the sons of God. Not you other nations, because the Most High didn't give you that title, man.
You're the sons of men.
You're the sons of men. The Lord have separated you, man. Okay? Go on, man.
That the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose.
Yep.
And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years.
Yeah, so the Lord, basically what they were doing was, they was same thing Jake be doing now. They were dealing with the women of the other nations, and they were going off, man. You know? Jake was dealing, because that was Jake back then, they were dealing with the women of the other nations, and basically they were starting to follow their philosophies, man.
Yep. Which same thing happens today, man.
Which is the same thing going on today. Exactly that. Jake go deal with a heathen woman and he ain't got the presence of mind to uphold his own shit. He'll go dabble in the shit she dabble with and become a damn
in love with her.
Buddhist or some shit. You know?
Yeah. And starts, going to the temple with her, some bullshit.
Madness, man. Getting in with her father-in-law and all that shit.
Verse 4, there were giants in the earth in those days. Also after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which are of old, men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth.
Yeah, what's the wickedness? Wickedness is transgression of the laws of the Most High. Because the laws of the Most High always existed, man. Thou shalt not kill. You know, all that.
You'll still be punished by
the Lord. Yeah, the Lord of the Most High is forever, man. So what were they doing back then? They were eating unclean animals, right? They were committing adultery. Basically all the wickedness that you see going on the earth today. So if you want an example of what they were doing back in the days of Noah, just turn on your TV, man. They were doing all this same wickedness. Ain't nothing new on earth, man. That's in the scriptures, man. They had homosexuals, lesbians, bestiality, all that, man. Nude beaches, orgies, carnivals, different festivals to worship the idolatry. Right? And you had Jake back there getting messed up in that too.
And that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
Yeah, Jake just wanted to do wickedness, man. They didn't want to people. They didn't want to adhere onto no rules, no order. They wanted to go about establishing their own order, man. Which is the same thing what's going on today. Anything that comes out in the societies is just continuing wickedness, man. They ain't trying to reverse the trend, you know? They're just pushing forward in wickedness.
They're not looking to be ruled by the Most High, man.
Because in order to reverse the trend, you've got to basically go into this book, man. Which they're not going to go, okay, well, okay, we're going to establish this law of the Bible. They're not going to do that, man. They're going to bring something out against the Bible, man.
That's why they've got all their own laws today.
Yeah, 1,000,001. I mean, so many laws they don't even know.
They repeal being a faggot, man. They just, they strip this Bible apart, man. The laws in it. And then they choose what they want and what they don't want out of it, and then they promote everything they want in the society, man.
Even murder, man. People, they don't really have the law of murder, man, because the law of murder is very intricate in the Bible, man. Because murder is actually defined in the Bible, man. Murder is premeditated slaying of a man unrighteously, man. Now, if a man walk in and his wife is getting piped by another man, and he puts them both to death,
that's righteous.
Not that I'm advocating you to go out and do that, because if you do that, the white man's gonna put you in jail. You're gonna put the disclaimer. According to the Bible, you haven't committed murder. That was a righteous kill. But according to the so-called white man, you're coming down for double murder, man, double homicide, man. So they don't really have the proper law on murder.
That's right.
Okay?
Same with manslaughter, man. The avenger of blood. If he catch you, he can
put you to death, and that's not murder. But in this society, that would be deemed murder, man.
That's That's right. Verse 6, and it repented the Lord that he made man on earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast and creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repented me that I have made them.
Okay.
Skip.
Now I want you to skip down to the 8th chapter, man. And the Lord did that, right?
Okay, this is chapter 8, verse 1. And God remembered Noah, and every living thing, and all the cattle that was with him in the ark.
Right, so Noah and his 3 sons, and their respective wives, and certain amount of clean animals, certain amount of unclean, which shows you they had the law of what to eat and what not to eat, man. Okay? They knew that you weren't supposed to eat no motherfucking camel, okay? That's something which was brought down through word of mouth, man. That was known. Even the Lord said, you're gonna take, what was it, seven, what was it? I think it was 7 clean, and it was about 2 unclean, something like that, in the right ratio.
It says here, chapter 7, verse 2, every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by 7s, the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by 2.
There you go.
And the male and his female.
That's right. So your tigers is they're all unclean animals. So is your camel. Your camels are unclean animals, man. Your clean animals is what you're gonna live on to eat and so forth, and the other animals are gonna live on too that eat meat. That's your lamb, your deer, your herd animals basically. That's your clean animals. Your chickens, your turkeys. Okay?
Back in chapter 8. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, the waters assuaged, the fountains also of the deep, and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained.
That's right. So guess what? The Most High actually brought water up from underneath the earth, and water was raining down too. Okay? Now you're gonna guys say, oh, that's crazy. Hold on, isn't there not such a thing called an aquifer? Is it unheard of that? What happened in Japan, man? When the earthquake happened, man, water started, liquefaction occurred, and motherfucking parts of the damn place started sinking, man, and water started rising up, man. There's large expanse of water underneath the feet underneath your feet, man. They're called aquifers, man. Okay, natural aquifers, man, that store large volumes of water, man. Not all the water is on the earth's surface and in the air. A lot of it's on the ground too. Right? That's why you go to certain places. When the Great Flood happened, don't you know certain parts of the continents fell down? That's why they find deep underground cities off the coast of Japan and all that. Because they had cities before the flood, man. Great cities, man, just like today. Which the Lord is going to destroy. Just like today, you got New York, you got London with their monuments and all that. You had that back then. What, you think they just had huts and... No, man. They had great cities, man. With monuments and all that shit. Right? But all that shit got destroyed, man, by the flood. Some of it sunk down, now it's in the sea. Great earth movement, and they find them. I believe they recently found one just off the coast of Japan, man. And there's pyramids under there and all kind of shit, man. Giant ass fucking megalithic fucking structures, man. Underneath. How did it get down there? What, did someone fucking dive down there and build it? No, obviously it used to be on land, man. That's all proof of the Great Flood, man.
Verse 3, and the waters returned from off the earth continually, and after the end of the 150
right,
days,
certain parts of the earth rose up, certain parts fell down, and then the water, obviously, through the process of what you call gravity, I'm gonna just use that because that's the term everyone knows, came off, and that's how you get the continents today. You know, then you got the continental shelf and all that shit. Then you got the deep sea. Okay, go on.
And after the end of the 150 days, the waters were abated, and the ark rested in the 7th month on the 17th day on the mountains of Ararat.
The mountains of Ararat, which is in Turkey, man. So Africa ain't the fucking motherland, man. That's utterly fucking ridiculous, man. That is utterly ridiculous, man. That's foolishness, man.
The waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, were the tops of the mountains seen.
And that's why the Middle East is the cradle of civilization. It ain't no fucking Africa, man. Come on, man. Let's be real. Mesopotamia. That's why you had Hamites living in Mesopotamia, man. Because the Kush used to live in Ur, which is in Mesopotamia, man. Where is Mesopotamia? Ain't in Africa. Mesopotamia is in the Middle East. In fact, it's very eastward in the Middle East. You had Canaanites living in the Middle East. So you had children of Ham that were living in the Middle East. But what happened, the first civilization was actually in Iraq, which is where the Tower of Babel was, man. Which is going to make my point anyway. If we carry on reading, if there any more, then we're going to jump straight down to the Tower of Babel. Is there any more on that? No. So the Lord did all that great destruction because of the and Noah, Ham, Shem, and Japheth knew why it happened, right? Because of all the wickedness, man. Okay.
Yeah, because Noah would have, of course, told him why the Most High brought down his.
Yeah, because they were helping him, right? So therefore, Noah's children, or should I say Ham, Shem, and Japheth's children, they knew about the Most High. How could they not know about the Most High God that saved their family from the flood? They knew about what was happening before the flood. Oh, naturally, because the Most High is always, when you go into the scriptures, the Most High is always about teaching your children about the past, about history. So they knew about the wickedness that was going on. They knew about the Most High and His power and what He did. Okay, but I'm gonna show you how wicked man is, man. Give me the 11th chapter. Now they started to multiply, and like I said, they knew what was right and what was right and what was wrong, because they knew what clean animals were and they knew what unclean animals were, and they knew who the Most High was, man. That's why the scripture says, "By the name Yahweh was I not well known." When you look at that word "known," it means well known, because no one knew the name of the Most High, and so did His sons, man. They knew who the Most High power was, but being the nature of the children of Ham, Shem, and Japheth, right, where all of Ham's children had the spirit of heathens, same with Japheth's children, and the majority of Shem's, bar the holy line, had a heathenistic spirit on them. They didn't hold the fear of the Most High, and they started going off when they knew the power of the Most High. Go on.
It's chapter 11. And
so the Most High already proved Himself to be the Most High God, because the idols of the people before the flood didn't save them from the flood, but the Most High saved Noah. Okay, so they knew thou shalt not murder. They knew thou shalt not steal. They knew all these things, man. Unless you're gonna say Noah was a bad parent, man, and he didn't teach these things.
No, the Most High said that he was special in his generation, man, basically, man. Also, he was a righteous man.
He was a righteous man.
Okay, this is chapter 11 from verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech.
Right, at this point in time, the whole earth was of one language and one speech. Now that one language was the Hebrew, man. That's why the word Hebrew means from the past. These demons, they translate it as mean crossing over, because you can loosely translate it like that, because, for instance, when Israel crossed over the river Jordan, what was the other side of the Jordan? The past. That's where you're coming from. That's what the past means, where you're coming from. You're crossing over from where you're coming from. Okay? But the word Hebrew actually really translated means from the past. and only one group of people kept the original language. And no, it wasn't Aramaic.